It was me, Kyo, Himiko, and Kokichi.
So those 4 are the culprits!
What?
Oh, Himiko's still culprit?
Well, that's probably just a coinkydink. The most suspicious out of the 4 is really Kyo. He suggested the whole seance idea.
That's true.
True, I may have suggested it, but I explained the procedure beforehand, yes? If we all knew of it before the murder, then we are all equally suspicious.
Well, I suppose, but...
In addition, the seance wasn't entirely in my control either. I was not the one who selected the room we performed it in. It was Himiko.
The middle room.
Oh, right.
Also, we should not limit our suspects to only those who participated in the seance. The empty room had a point of entry from outside, you see.
The floor in the other room. Here.
There! You're talking about under the floor, right?
Huh? Under the floor?
Yes, there's a crawl space under the floor a person can move through. There was also a hole that connected it to the neighboring room.
If the culprit used the hole, they could have entered and exited the seance room.
True.
If we consider that possibility, then there is another suspect.
Kaido.
Another suspect? Who?
It's appearing before me. Oh, I can see it clearly. The true identity of Tenko's killer.
Are you gonna say it's Kaido? Okay, child, loose floorboard. Kyo's flashlight function hole in
The
the corner.
culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
Okay.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see
They're gonna
if
say
they
it's
were under the
Kiba's
floor?
flashlight function.
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
You're gonna say it's Kiba's flashlight
You
function.
mean candle?
I mean, Kiba's flashlight function.
Huh? Now, hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance!
I said hold on a second.
He used his robot functions to commit the murders.
What?
Hold on a second.
It's true though, with a little light you can move under the floor, but is that possible?
The culprit sneaked in.
Oh. You can see what was dropped there. The caged child. Loose floorboard. It was not loose before the seance.
During the seance by crawling.
He can emit a blinding light from his eyes.
Under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the
I'm gonna
seance.
try and contradict Kibo's flashlight function with Kibo's flashlight function.
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our
Well, I'm trying to right-click
You
to...
mean candle?
No. Hold on a second.
the culprit did the seance by crawling under the floor.
It was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, villain had
Okay.
a light.
The room is darker than the one would need a light, no? Are you denying my entire theory or whether... No. Okay,
The culprit sneaked in during the seance.
hole in the corner. There's space under the floor. You can see what was dropped there.
By
In the cage child, you need 5 people, including the spirit medium. Do that. Place the iron cage. Turn off all the lights to make it completely dark.
Crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black.
I'm gonna try this against Muse then?
Because it wasn't dark. You had a light. I mean, function. Huh?
Kibo could have used
No, God, I hate my life.
I said.
The culprit sneaked in during the seance.
Like
Crawling under the floor. Because it wasn't dark under the floor.
you
Our villain had a light. Light? You mean candle? I mean Kibo's flashlight.
function.
No, hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor.
Not that either, huh?
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black. How could they even under the floor?
Because it wasn't
Dark under the floor.
You see, villains have a
There we go.
light. That's wrong!
You would have been able
I
to
don't
see it,
think
right?
the culprit could have used a light while under the floor. There was a hole in the corner of the room. If a light were used, it would have leaked through and we would have seen it.
Right.
But when we did the seance, the room was definitely pitch black.
So a light was not shined under the floor, which means you cannot claim I am the culprit.
Well, if you can't use your flashlight.
Jeez, here I thought this would be the case where the murder could only be done by a robot.
Why are you... Why?
You have accused me of being the culprit more than once now, simply because I am a robot. My status as a robot does not mean I am capable of performing superhuman feats. My vision is somewhat poor, and I only possess average physical strength and intelligence.
All right, you made your point. God, now I feel sort of bad for you.
I neither want nor need your pity.
Enough with the flashlight! It's way too bright!
It would have been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch black darkness.
Yeah.
Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case.
No, I don't think so.
Then why was floorboard under Tenko lined up funny?
It was, indeed.
Gonta think that was so culprit could stab Tenko from under floor.
But she was stabbed in the back of the neck.
Ooh, nice observation, Gonta. Are you finally getting used to the class trials?
Uh-huh. Thank you. Don't say it like that. You're better off not being used to this kind of
Yeah.
Maybe they marked Tenko with glowing paint and looked for
This is not Danganronpa 2.
That'd let the culprit find her. Then they could stab her through the floorboards.
This is not Danganronpa 2.
Boy, that sounds really familiar too. But I'm just gonna ignore
This
it.
is not Danganronpa 2 Case 1, thank you.
Her corpse didn't have any trace of glowing paint, though.
Oh.
There's no
yeah.
Nagito around.
So then why was that floorboard loose?
The loose floorboard was the one under Tenko, right? If the culprit used it while she was still alive, she'd totally notice.
Who fucking cares? Fussing over that won't get us closer to the culprit!
We shouldn't dismiss this line of inquiry, however. Instead of butting our heads against this, how about we concentrate on another issue?
Yeah.
What other issue?
Perhaps first, we should figure out how and when exactly Tenko was killed.
It's gotta be during the seance.
When? So not during seance?
Well, we heard that thud.
Tenko was in the metal cage for the whole seance, wasn't she? How could someone have gotten to her there?
Maybe the culprit killed her before she went under
No.
the metal cage.
That's not possible. She was alive at that point.
Yep. Next time you open your mouth will be Angie speaking through you.
Yes, she was unmistakably alive when the seance began.
That was right before we blew out the candles. But when the light came back...
The floorboard was removed at that point, so it's likely she was already dead then.
So she was killed when the room was dark?
I assume so.
But she was inside Cage, right? Going to think it impossible to kill her then.
Then she wasn't killed when the room was dark. It was a different time.
A different time?
Hmm?
How the fuck should I know? You figure it out, shitheads.
Huh?
Since Gonta said it was impossible, I'm proposing an alternate theory. Now hurry up and think! If you want to make my golden brain tingle, start circle jerking your limp dick brains!
Why are you like this? Just why? Margaret Stone, Iron Cage, White Sheet, Dog Statue.
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
What?
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time.
Iron Cage.
And she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment Cage was lifted?
Possible.
Like that.
When Cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Oh my!
What? Stop.
So who lifted the cage?
There's blood on this, though.
It was me.
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit.
No.
There's no doubt!
Tenko not being killed during the seance, that might not be impossible, but there's no evidence for it.
When Tenko got killed,
Dog Statue, Marker Stone,
it
Iron Cage. I can try and lie, I guess.
wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the...
Okay, no. Visual medium mustn't move during the seance. Tenko was definitely following the direction. She did not leave the cage. I didn't figure it was worth a shot.
When Tenko got killed,
Iron Cage. I feel like
It
it's
wasn't
the
during
white
the
sheet
seance.
then, you know? Because it's got blood around the middle, but there's no hole.
It could have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time. And she was dead when the cage was lifted.
Right.
What moment Cage was lifted?
Nope.
That's wrong!
No, it wasn't possible to kill her the moment the cage was
There's already
lifted,
blood on the sheet.
because the inside of the white cloth had Tenko's blood on it. That cloth was removed before the cage was lifted. If Tenko was stabbed then, there wouldn't be blood on the cloth.
what? But how could my golden brain be wrong when it felt so right?
The only possibility is that Tenko was killed during the seance.
I got your remodel right here!
Oh boy.
No, it's still wrong to think that Tenko was killed during the seance.
Hmm?
What?
I'm gonna prove it right now. My golden brain is gonna go all out!
Okay. Margaret Stone, loose forward Iron Cage, sickle under floor.
Tenko died after the seance. It happened when the sheet was lifted.
No.
That was the moment the culprit chose to stab the fuck out of Tenko through the cage!
No.
They stuck the thin blade through the gaps of the cage. And that clean white sheet got stained blood red!
No?
But the weapon was a sickle. Only the blade could have fit through the gaps.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck all exposed. She wasn't that far from the cage's gap. In which case, the person who lifted the sheet is the culprit, and that's none other than Kyo!
There's gotta be a hole somewhere. All I have to do is show the evidence.
The blade's all you need.
Hold on, iron cage. The blood's on the top of the cage, though. Or the bottom, I guess.
If you stick
Let's
the
try
blade
this
through a
one.
gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
No? Shit. Oh, okay.
Damn it!
Hold on, I got the rock then.
The blade's all you need.
She wasn't sitting exposed, she had the fucking... Yeah.
If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Want me to cut through those words?
Cut through your words. Wait just a minute. Tenko wasn't sitting down inside the cage. She was bent over with her forehead against the marker stone, and the cage itself was about 3 feet tall. The sickle's blade was too short to reach Tenko while she was in that position.
So they reached it up from under the ground and, like, had a really good aim at her neck. Because it's curvy, you could do it like that.
I messed up again? How could this happen? I am so embarrassed.
No worries, Mew. Everyone already knows you're an embarrassment to the human race.
Yeah, no worries.
How embarrassing!
If Shuichi is right, then it's impossible for Tenko to have been killed through the
She was
cage.
killed under the floor.
She couldn't have been killed during the seance since she was in the cage, right?
No.
If she was killed then, the cloth over the cage would have been pierced.
Not during the seance or from below the floor. Then it's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, for a living person.
For God's sake.
Huh?
What if Angie's spirit killed Tenko?
Fine.
What are you talking about? That's not possible.
We don't know that. Some things are impossible for a human, but not for a spirit.
Don't say stupid stuff like that. Screw spirits.
Stop that now.
Angie's spirit killed Tenko? Why?
Himiko?
Why would Angie's spirit kill Tenko?
What if Tenko killed Angie, and then Angie's spirit came back for
Would
revenge?
you stop?
Like I said, that's impossible. Spirits can't be culprits.
This is his 8th attorney.
Then explain how the culprit killed Tenko under these impossible circumstances.
Well,
See? You can't explain, can you? Only a spirit could have done that!
wait, I know. What if the culprit was hiding inside the cage?
What?
If they were in there, they could have stabbed Tenko during the seance.
No. If there was someone else in the cage, we would have noticed.
I agree with Kaito. The culprit could have been inside the cage.
They could have.
Nonsense. There was no space in the cage for the culprit to hide.
Maybe the culprit wouldn't need to hide in the first place.
What?
Also, the culprit could have killed her in the cage at any time. I think you know what I'm
Suicide?
getting at, right?
Are you saying a suicide? That seems to me what you're getting at.
I believe Maki is referring to Tenko herself.
What did you say?
I don't think she committed
Are
suicide.
you saying Tenko is the culprit?
She committed suicide.
Suicide?
If she committed suicide, it would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out.
I don't think so.
She
Doesn't make any
volunteered
sense.
to be in the cage and then stabbed herself during the seance. It wouldn't matter how dark the room was.
But the sickle she was stabbed with was under the floor, right? If Tenko had stabbed herself, wouldn't the sickle
that's a good
still
point.
be inside the cage?
Oh my god. Mew actually said something smart.
Perhaps that explains why the floorboard was removed. After stabbing herself with the sickle, she threw it underneath the floor.
So she took off the floorboard to get rid of the sickle?
Yes, that makes sense to Gonta.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason for Tenko to commit suicide.
Maybe I wasn't too far off with the theory I had earlier. You know, about Tenko killing Angie.
Yeah?
Because Tenko and Angie were fighting for your attention, right? Tenko's pent-up frustration led her to commit such an atrocity.
I don't think so.
Her conscience couldn't handle it anymore, so she decided to end her own life.
No.
What?
But if she was gonna kill herself, why do it during the seance?
She wanted to hide the truth of her suicide.
Really? Why?
There could only be one reason to hide it in a killing game, right? It's to take us down with her.
I don't think so.
Take us down?
She wanted us to pick the wrong answer during the class trial, so she could bring us all down. She wanted us to die with her.
No, that was Nagito's plan, and I kinda doubt it's hers.
Okay, well, she probably just wanted Himiko to die with her, but still.
What are you saying? Tenko wasn't like that. She told me.
She gave a whole rousing pep speech.
What if all of that was just a lie?
It wasn't.
A lie?
Wait! We should believe Tenko's last words!
The true terror of class trials is that you shouldn't believe everything said.
Himiko, you said that Tenko would never do anything like that. But how can you be so sure? Did you guys actually know each other? People keep all sorts of secrets. Like Maki. She hid the fact that she's a cold-blooded killer. Is it wise of us to trust other people wholeheartedly in this kind of situation?
Jeez, you're such a naive dude.
Oh, Kaido's about to lay the smackdown again.
Naive?
We're all just people, you know? Of course we're gonna have some secrets. What matters is whether there's any malice behind them.
People can lie about how malicious their hidden secrets really are.
Well, duh. It's impossible to know for sure what others are thinking. That's why it all comes down to whether or not you believe in yourself. If you get betrayed, it's not their fault. It's your fault for believing in them. That's why I believed in Maki Roll, because I wanted to believe in her.
She's going to kill you for calling her Maki Roll.
Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you get to skip training.
Aw.
Hey, come on. Don't you think you're being a little too strict?
Well, we come from different backgrounds. So for now, let's agree to disagree. No one's ever called me naive before. And from Kaito? Seriously?
Whether or not I believe, my heart can't reach Himiko anymore. But I want to believe in her. She wouldn't commit suicide. She wouldn't try to take us down. That's what I want to believe!
Me too. Gonta no can believe Tenko commits suicide.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, that would answer all of our questions.
If you insist we believe in Tenko, then provide a reason to do so.
Proper reason.
All right, I'll give you a reason.
Is there a reason?
Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki? If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like. But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work.
I don't believe Tenko would kill herself because of what she said. That she wanted to live on with everyone. Just she'll see you guys after the seance. See you guys after. I doubt she had a sudden change of heart. Just because we don't know how she was killed doesn't mean it was suicide. We shouldn't be satisfied with that, and if we keep thinking, we'll find the truth. And that means we have to believe in Tenko. I'll make them all believe. Monaco File 3, the case shot Tenko's last moment.
So far, suicide...
Tenko died in a crouch position. The injury on the back of her neck was deep, but probably not enough to kill her immediately.
seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
No.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, She threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces...
Himiko died in a crash position. Probably not enough to kill her immediately.
fit.
Everyone thinks that Tenko committed suicide, but only because they're latching on to the easiest answer.
So far,
So am I gonna say she died instantly?
our suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Resulting in death.
Her plan was to take
Alright,
us down with
let's
her,
give it a shot.
so she hid her true intentions.
And I have a barking dog in the background, as per usual. Oh boy.
Explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself.
Only with the last...
Lying coldly.
I'll reveal the truth. Tenko couldn't have thrown the sickle under the floor because she died instantly.
Instantly?
I'm certain of it. My investigation determined that she died instantly.
What's your opinion, Maki? I'd like to hear from someone who specializes in murder.
Maki.
You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail. Tenko died instantly.
What?
As an assassin, I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko was killed immediately.
Words of a true killer. Pretty sure we can believe everything she said.
Thank you, Maki.
How could you forget that, Maki Roll? You better apologize to Shuichi.
Excuse me?
It's okay, Kaito, really. No apology necessary. Anyway, Tenko died so suddenly that she couldn't have gotten rid of the sickle. Knowing that, the theory that she killed herself just doesn't fit, correct?
Just like I thought. Tenko wouldn't commit suicide.
Thank goodness, Himiko.
Which means someone definitely killed Tenko during the seance.
Yeah.
Her suicide was considered because we could not determine how she was killed.
No! There must have been a way! We're gonna figure it out!
Did any of the participants witness anything
There was a
peculiar
thump.
during the seance? If you know something, please speak up. It could be the key to solving this mystery.
Not a bad idea. We should remember what happened to the seance. No, we're doing a... No, we're not doing Hangman's Gambit. Okay. Caged Child found during the seance. Yep.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary during the seance?
There is something that bothers me.
Yeah.
The fact that the seance failed.
Oh, for goodness sake, deal.
The ritual was perfect, and yet it failed. How utterly strange.
Now that I think about it, while we were all singing the song, I heard something fall.
I agree with that.
I agree. Himiko, you think that something fell because of that sound you heard, right?
What if something bumped up?
It sounded like something heavy fell down and hit the floor really hard. What could have fallen down?
Fallen down? There wasn't anything on the ceiling that could have fallen down, right?
Am I wrong? I thought something fell, but
The sound was pretty loud. It did seem like something hit the floorboards.
In the room to the left, maybe? Okay, work with me on this. What if it's this? Okay, sorry. My bad. The question is, what caused the sound that was heard? this probably then.
This is it!
I don't know, I thought maybe someone next door crashed through the floor.
I think the floorboard coming off had something to do with that sound. That floorboard came loose at some point during the seance, right?
Could the floorboard have made such a loud sound, though?
It was the sound of an intense impact.
If the impact was that intense, then it could have loosened the floorboard.
It would have had to be a strong impact to make that sound. What was it?
All right then, let's go with that. We all gotta put our heads together now.
Kaido, I'm worried about you. I don't know, something's bothering me.
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Channeling Seance. Magic Circle, Kyo drew.
Judging.
Maybe this. Could be this.
From the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
No.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
No, it was still standing
But
up.
that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
No.
But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through the floorboard.
A floorboard that comes loose when you step on it is dangerous.
Okay.
God, it's like I'm the only one here who's staying on the ball.
You hardly have any experience with balls to say that, Mew.
Don't be stupid. Don't you know me and balls are the best of friends?
Okay.
So what made the floorboard come loose?
This is the only thing that really makes sense to me. Oh, we got dried blood under the floor, sound during seance. Magic circle. It must be this.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
I guess we'll try this. Nope. Moving a floorboard in total darkness seems somewhat impossible.
I was wrong!
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Considerable force.
Someone participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
It's not this one.
That makes such a loud crashing.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
No.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. Then
Stood up with such might.
No.
But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stepped through the floor.
Maybe. Okay.
I agree! Kokichi is right. The floorboard came loose because someone stomped on it.
the floorboards fit perfect. Going to make sure first time we go to empty room.
When we first saw the room, yes. But when I looked again during the investigation, one of the cross pieces supporting the floorboards was cut off. After examining the cut, I concluded that it must have been done deliberately.
Yep.
Someone? You mean the culprit, right? Why'd they do that?
What did the culprit stand to gain by cutting the cross piece?
Save exit. I need to think carefully about the cross piece and the floorboard. Tango's body was at one end of the loose floorboard. Cross piece that's been cut was on the other end. The unsupported part was outside the cage, so it could have been stomped on. Only one of the cross pieces was cut, the other two were intact. One of them was right under Tanko. The other was in the center, right about where the edge of the cage was. What was the culprit attempting to achieve? Hangman's Gambit. Okay. S. A. Nope. That's a W. E. S. E. Let's try an A. Nope. S. E. Nope. S. E. We'll try another E. C. Oh, seesaw, seesaw. Give me a light. That's a W, right? Okay, seesaw. D-E-N, no. F. Nope. I can see a little bit. Not an F. W? Nope. E? Seesaw effect? A C. Alright, there we go. Seesaw effect.
That's right. The floorboard might have been used as a seesaw.
Huh? A seesaw?
The crosspiece at one end of the floorboard had been cut off. The other two crosspieces holding up that board were close to the cage.
So that would have knocked Tenko up into the air?
If you were to apply force to the end of the floorboard with no crosspiece, the next crosspiece would act as a fulcrum to turn the floorboard into a lever. A lever capable of lifting up Tenko's entire body.
Does that mean the scythe within the cage already?
Her whole body lifted up?
Directly into the scythe?
Yeah, that sounds like a seesaw, all right. But why bother lifting Tenko's body?
They couldn't have killed Tenko like that. Unless they used the sickle.
That's exactly it. Using the seesaw trick, it was possible to kill Tenko with a sickle.
Huh? How?
In order for the culprit to kill Tenko with a seesaw trick, the placement of the sickle is the most important factor.
The floorboard, seesaw, the cage, and the blood on the white fabric. It has to have been inside the cage. The top of the cage.
That's it!
Has to be.
The sickle was at the top of the iron cage, with the blade facing down.
We didn't see
The
that.
reason we didn't see it was because of the fabric covering the cage. Also, the wooden statue kept the blade in place.
What?
It's true that the sickle's handle was thick, which made the statue wobble. But the statue's weight kept it from falling over.
Was it Kyo?
Once everything was in place, if you stepped hard enough on the seesaw, Tenko's body would have shot upward and hit the blade on the top of the cage.
Okay, but who put that there?
She was bent over, meaning the sickle's blade would have connected with her neck.
The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in her crouch position, but with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, it could compensate for the blade's length.
Bringing the victim to the sickle, rather than bringing the sickle to the victim.
Was it Kyo?
That's definitely an unorthodox idea.
Who else could it have been?
It's crazy, but it would explain how Tenko got stabbed while she was in the cage.
So the sound we heard was the culprit stomping on the floorboard.
I don't think it was Kokichi.
That impact
Certainly
made
wasn't
floorboard come
Shuichi.
loose.
Looks like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide. Wait, what the hell's a seesaw homicide? That's fucking crazy!
The craziness is what really makes the killing game fun, you know?
No.
They can't get away with murder the normal way, so they gotta think outside the box. Kudos, culprit! You did a great job keeping me entertained.
Indeed. Well played, Himiko.
What?
Yeah?
It was you, wasn't it? The one behind the seesaw homicide.
Why her?
Because she's the only one capable of carrying out this plan.
The only one? Why's that?
Because this seesaw homicide required its location to be prepared beforehand.
By cutting the crosspiece beneath the floorboard, you mean?
Then the culprit would need to lure their victim into the prepared room. That is why you chose that room for the seance. Is it not, Himiko?
There are only 3 empty rooms.
Oh yeah! Himiko was the one who chose the site for the seance!
She likely found out about my plans for the seance somehow.
You were quite vocal about the seance, Kyo. You even had instructions for it in your lab.
Our culprit, Himiko, prepared her seesaw trap ahead of time. Then she waited for me to host the seance, and suggested the middle room. She led us all into holding the seance right where she wanted it. Then, she killed Tenko. All according to plan.
Sure it wasn't you?
That's a lie, right? Himiko did such a thing?
In the end, Himiko, who Tenko cherished and loved, tragically killed her.
Wait! We don't know that, right? He's wrong, right, Himiko? Himiko would never kill Tenko, right?
Kill Tenko? I killed Tenko?
Himiko?
What's wrong, Himiko?
It is true that using the middle room was Himiko's idea. That means she really killed Tenko. Something so cruel. Now we're in intermission. Oh boy.